want to reflect on how we are able to use PPP, for example, to help develop road infrastructure within our communities. Sometimes when you go to some parts of Accra or Kumasi, or I'm sure in any other city in Ghana, you see how very good, nice private buildings are being erected. And you look at the kind of roads that are there, you wonder at what point government will be able to secure money to go and do that, the roads in those communities. And so perhaps we need to think about a model where the private investors or people who are building in these areas could be allowed to pull some private capital to develop the local roads and find a way to get them get their investments paid back, either through using their investment to offset their payment for property rates, or allowing them to toll the roads in those communities for a certain prescribed fee, so that in the long term, maybe they'll be able to recoup that investment. By so doing, you will get private people helping government to develop road infrastructure within the emerging communities in our cities. So perhaps we need to think about that model. So Speaker, the second point I want to make is about thinking through how government can also take steps to assist us develop our communities. And I'm just going to use the Abri Hills as an example. Some years back, few years back, when you drive from Accra, Ayi Mensa, going to Abri, you would see that the landscape was beautiful. Today, when you are going to Abri, you see how the vegetation on the hill is being cleared and private, buildings just sprouted, coming up. And I wonder how we are going to manage the situation in few years to come. Mr. Speaker, we need to note that the flood in Accra is already a problem. And when we allow the entire landscape of the Abri Hills to the vegetation to be cleared, the volume of water that will be coming to Accra in the next few years, we will not be able to manage it. And that is why in such landscapes, you need to have a land use management plan where government goes in to acquire the land and maybe allow people to purchase the land, not just the small 100 by 100 size, but in maybe 1 acre portions. And then when people develop private homes in such big portions, they will leave about 75% of the land as a vegetation. And so even though private houses will be developing, you will still have a sizable number of the vegetation and the original landscape intact. And I think that is the way we should develop areas like the Abri Hills. We can't allow people to just be buying normal 50 by